Hey guys, so today we are launching a new series. I'm going to be doing a series of videos called Wisdom from Bed. First of all, I have seasonal affective disorder, so I bought this giant sun lamp. And it turns out it functions as a really good ring light. And so I thought I could make a little series of videos that I record every morning while I'm sitting in front of my sun lamp in bed. But also, the other real heart behind this series of videos is that I have chronic health issues. I know a lot of other people out there do as well. And one of the things that I've realized with struggling with chronic illness is it really forces you to go in very deep to understanding yourself and to digging deep for joy, to being super intentional in life, to being ruthless at prioritization. And all of those things build this like gold mine of wisdom. And so I've been thinking about that fact, and there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of wisdom to share with the world, but probably not the energy to share it with the world. And that just feels unfortunate to me. And so I thought I would start this series as a way to share the things that I've learned while I've spent many days in bed in my life, but also hopefully it encourages other people who are chronically ill to possibly do the same and to realize that they can share the things that they're learning with others. And just because they're physically limited doesn't mean that they can't share the things that they learn in those spaces. So hopefully that's an encouragement to some folks out there. And this is just going to be a really approachable, simple series. And I hope it's fun for people to get to hear my morning musings. A lot of times, first thing in the morning is when my brain is working the best and the most articulately and poetically. So it seems like a good juxtaposition to use this time to share little tidbits with you guys. So today I was watching a video podcast by one of my favorite podcasters, Tonya Leigh. I'll link her down below. Her content has just been amazing for me through the years. And as I was listening to her talk about her life story, something kind of dawned on me. I realized as an empathetic person, sometimes I use my empathy in unhealthy ways. So if you're an empathetic person, what I mean by empathy is that you can feel other people's feelings. You can be aware of people's emotional shifts, sometimes before they even are. And as a result, I find that sometimes I let that initial feeling of empathy, that sensing of someone else's emotional experience, sometimes I allow that to morph into more what I would call sympathy. And I would have to look at the actual definitions of these words to know if I'm defining them the way the dictionary does. But for me, sympathy is more like feeling sorry for someone. And sometimes I begin to imagine what it might feel like if I was going through what they're going through. And I've realized that can actually cause me a lot of unnecessary pain that's not even healthy to that person. So, for example, if someone loses their pet, let's say I see on Facebook someone lost their dog, and all they posted was, I lost my dog today. Now, it's pretty fair to assume if someone posted on Facebook about losing their dog probably mattered to them. But let's say someone just in passing mentions, oh yeah, we had to put our dog down. Now, empathy would be feeling what they're feeling in the moment and being tuned in to what that person's experience currently is. But sometimes I can just jump straight to imagining how I would feel if I was in their scenario. And our dog is like our kid, and it would be devastating to lose her. It would be very hard. But not everyone's animals mean that to them. And So I could be sitting there trying to understand how they're feeling by imagining how I would feel, and that can actually cause so much unnecessary pain that they may not even be feeling in the first place. Therefore, I'm not really helping myself to understand them better. And it's making me feel the pain of what losing my dog would be. And if you're a highly imaginative, empathetic person, you can actually elicit emotions in your body that are pretty accurate to how you would feel in those circumstances. And that can be incredibly painful if you're inflicting these super heavy emotions on yourself. It's not helpful to that person for you to be suffering in that moment over their imagined loss. And it's also not helpful to you and your nervous system and your body, especially if you're someone who has chronic illness. But even if you're just a sensitive soul, sometimes our brains don't know the difference between something we've imagined and something that's actually happened if our current emotional response is similarly strong. So I would just remind you guys that not everyone's experience is the same as your own, and therefore it's not really the most accurate way of understanding where they're at emotionally and being able to help and support them well, to imagine how you might feel in that circumstance, because it's not you living that circumstance, it's them and their story. So just a little hint, tune into how that person is actually feeling their feelings, what's going on with them, and address that instead. So I hope that helps someone as we're managing our empathy and our energy. And I hope you'll join me again in a little Words of Wisdom from Bed series. I'm looking forward to doing more of these with you guys. Much love.